Here we are live.
I'm waiting, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen of the Irish Rugby Banter Group. A very good evening, and welcome to your weekly dose of Mauls, Balls, and all, as we do every Wednesday from 8:30 live here in the group and indeed on YouTube. So, welcome one and all, whether you're watching us live, whether you want to watch us on YouTube, whether you want to watch us on replay, we don't mind. If you're watching now, join in, offer an opinion, ask a question, tell us how you feel about whatever rugby subject matter we happen to be discussing, and we have a lot to discuss this evening. Joining me this evening is Matt Boland is back. There he is there. The usual, our man in Glasgow, Mike Reedy, there he is there. And Peter Martin is with us. The old reliables, folks, as you might say. How are we all, gentlemen? Are we all well in ourselves?
All fabulous, mate. Fabulous.
We can't complain with all our own problems.
Six Nations champions. What more can we say?
Well, there you go. This is it. Right, folks, as always, before we get into talking about the games and indeed the Six Nations that happened last weekend, we will have a brief chat about the stories that were happening in the group that caused some reaction and some comment and opinion. One of them was that happened during the Italian Wales game. Matt Boland, I'll come to you first and we'll go around that way. Neil Jenkins came on carrying water and he had a go at Matthew Reynolds, saying he said something along the lines of to Reynolds, he said, "Blue, number 9, high tackle." Reynolds said back to him, you're just responsible for the water. And Jenkins then said, "Well, why don't you ref the game?" Or words to that effect. This idea. Now, Johnny Sexton, if you remember, got into trouble when he wasn't even playing. He was in a suit. He came on and said something. He got into trouble. He got chastised badly for that. This is just ridiculous, this sort of thing, isn't it, Matt?
To be fair, I don't think Johnny Sexton was on the pitch when he chastised the ref. He was in the tunnel or whatever. But it's the same shit. Neil Jenkins should have been sent off the pitch straight away. Red card. Get the fuck. Get somebody, get another water boy on or whoever. With the lads, rugby players know the etiquette with referees. You have to, sir, yes, sir, no, sir. Can I ask a question? Blah, blah, blah. Him saying that just puts the whole game into disrepute and breaks the rules in terms of respect and the idea of respect, that we're teaching at grassroots, just fucking disrespects all of that. So for me, Matthew Reynolds should have just said, leave the pitch and don't come back on. End of story.
Yeah.
He should be looked at afterwards, just like Johnny Sexton was, and Johnny Sexton ended up getting banned from games. I know he's not a player and it won't really affect the team, but at the end of the day, he still has a case to answer for, because he did the same thing, chastising a referee where it's not his place. So for me, it shouldn't have happened in the first place. Neil Jenkins is an embarrassment in my concern, in my opinion, on himself, what he did. So tell him to fuck off. That's what I would have done. Red card. See you later, sunshine.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Yes, my words might have been slightly stronger than that, Matt, but however. Mike Reedy, this whole Neil Jenkins coming off the pitch.
What Matt just said, I think is absolutely despicable, to be honest with you, because if we lose sight of what's important to the values of our game, where the game itself is in trouble, and that is. I mean, Reynolds did actually say to him, "Don't come back on again. Do not come back on here again."
Yeah.
And but I think the Welsh Rugby Union are going to be chastised for this. I think they'll be penalised in some way, financially or whatever.
They fucking should be.
I think they probably will, and it's probably something they can't even afford. They can't afford to be paying out fines for stupid stuff like that. You know, I mean. Whether he had a point or not, you don't come on and do that. Never. It's just you just don't. A player has no right to do that even, and that's even involved in the game. You might raise the question, but he did it twice. And for him to actually say it to Matthew Reynolds, and you're meant to be the referee. You're meant to be the referee, and I'm thinking that isn't.
Yeah.
You can't. That's no. he'll get his penalties for that. He has to. But you know what? It's embarrassing really, because Wales have been very, very poor in the Six Nations, so they don't need to add fuel to the fire.
What do you make of all this?
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what the lads have said. Like,
Peter Martin, I lost you there.
Yeah. No, just to basically echo what the lads have said. Like, I couldn't get over, like, it's practically Jenkins barely effectively ran onto the pitch, and like he goes, blue 9, high tackle. Like, that's what he said. You know, it wasn't even, you know, as the lads have said, you know, sorry, referee, sir, you missed. We think you missed a high tackle. He just basically, like, he went straight in. You know, I like, Reynal was well within reason to flash a card at him and say, right, off the pitch.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, he was absolutely well within his rights. And like, he almost argued the case. Like, Reynal had to get almost an apology out of him. It shouldn't come to that. Like, Jenkins is a decorated player for Wales and the Lions. And he's really let himself down. Like, I would go so far as to say, like, the Welsh backroom team have had a bit of a history with all kinds of off the field issues. Like, you've Rob Howley, who's only coming back after being banned for betting. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a good look. Like, it's like, I would say that it probably stinks of a bit of a culture, perhaps with the Welsh backroom. They're pointing the finger, and like, Gatland is not beyond being, you know, contrary and looking to point the finger. Like, he kind of loses. You know, he's a history of losing sight of the bigger picture when he gets involved in these silly little mind games. There's a touch of the Eddie Joneses about him at times, and I think permeates. I think it can permeate the backroom team and indeed the squad. Like, you know, if this is the kind of crap that they're coming out with, I think the Six, like, World Rugby are going to do fuck all, because they do fuck all anyway. Let's call a spade a spade. They're more interested in their 20-minute red cards. It's up to the Six Nations to draw a line and say, right, this happens if there's any further guff from non-playing staff, water carriers, players who are wearing the water carrier bib, all that kind of jazz. They're not permitted. They shouldn't be permitted to speak to the referee. Full stop.
Yeah,
they shouldn't. They know that they know they're not.
If they break that, if they break that rule, in my view, they should be sent straight to the line, and there should be basically some sort of financial sanction incoming from the Six Nations, because there is no need for it. It's becoming like there's an awful lot of crap. There's an awful lot of toxicity coming into our game, and I do think an awful lot of it is soccer related stuff, and that's exactly what you'd see on the sideline in the Premier League week in, week out. This crap of, you know, you see coaches basically throwing shapes at match officials and waving hands in the air looking for cards. Like, that's pure bollocks. Like, you know, it just doesn't. It's never been part of this game, and it's up to those at the very top to say absolutely drop the hammer, sledgehammer on it. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
But surely, to fucking Christ, gentlemen, Jenkins must have known that it would have been picked up, because he was that close to Reynal. The ref might would have picked it up, and he honestly, like, he would have known he was in the wrong there, but yet he persisted.
Well, I think the way it is that there's obviously a feeling there that they can stay. There's obviously that feeling, Peter, that they can say stuff. It's whatever it is. Either it's the culture thing within Wales in particular, or else maybe it's permeating the game.
Yeah.
I think we lost Peter there.
Let's speak, Hamzy. Oh, yes. All right. Okay. We wait for Pete to come back. Just a few comments there, gentlemen. Will we be getting a review of the free grub at the match? The IRFU paper. The journals like that. Yes, I'll give a brief thing about that. Rugby is all about values, respect. Yes, absolutely. This one rumor is that Gatland was holding Howley and Jenkins hostage. Howley managed to escape by getting himself banned, and now Jenkins is making his escape attempt. Okay. This one, trying to take action against Galty and Neil Jenkins. Can't just let something slide and clamp down on the others. Next one there, I see Pete's just gone. He'll probably rejoin us. Lads, what do you think the reason is for the shocking demise of Wales rugby over the last few years? That's probably a show in itself, but briefly, do we want to answer that, the shocking demise of Wales rugby over the last few years? Matt, anything to say about that?
Oh, Jesus. Fucking, like you said, you could go on about this forever, but couple of things really, I suppose, was the teams, not the actual union themselves. They don't have enough teams, they don't have enough players. You know, the fight of Welsh players going to England, or whether they want to play for England or stay and play for Wales, or there's loads of things going on. The money in the clubs, fucking the fact that they keep running back to the same fucking gobshite that they think they're going to save Wales rugby, and it was a complete embarrassment this year. Look, you could go on and on and on.
Yeah, true. Mike Reedy, you're closest than any of us to it over there in Scotland.
Wales, it's in serious. It's. I mean, it has gone into free fall. If we're honest, like its demise has escalated at a phenomenal rate. They've had all sorts. They had a scandal like with as Peter alluded to earlier about the culture of Welsh rugby, you know, in general. They have like this thing anti women or something thing in this within the whole culture of the rugby. They've like Matt had just said there about the players going to play for English clubs, and they haven't got they're broke as well by the looks of it. They're really in financial difficulty, which I don't know why, because apparently they have more or less the same budget to work with as the IRFU do, but apparently the actual management and all that side of stuff gets a fair crack at the whip, you know, and there's a lot of money going out of the game that shouldn't be, whereas the IRFU seem to put it back into the provinces, etc. And but they're in danger, by the way. I mean, we've all called for Italy, like that are basically hanging on by their fucking coattails, you know, to staying in the Six Nations. Christ, it looks like Wales could go before them, and that is not an exaggeration, by the way.
I don't think so.
Serious concern.
Yeah,
but
Peter Martin, welcome back.
I'm afraid I don't have the answer to it though.
I don't think anyone does, Mike. The question on the screen there, Pete. So one of the viewers asked, "What do we think the reason is for the demise of Welsh rugby?" There's no simple answer to this. I think it's multifaceted. But if you were to give a brief answer, Pete.
Financial mismanagement. You know, not like when you need like they didn't spend their money at the right time. Like, don't forget, it's not that long ago, you know, Wales were winning, had won a number of Grand Slams and championships. And it seems that obviously they must have been spending it on false tan and God knows what fucking else, because they just, rather than saying, right, we're getting the TV money, we're getting the sponsorship money, we're getting all this, let's plow it in to make sure the under-20s are getting the best. They're getting coached properly, they're getting properly resourced. You know, they're trying to look to the next level as regards coaching, cutting edge, whatever the next 1% is, because that's where at elite level in sport, the next where you can get 1% over someone else, that's where it's at. It doesn't appear that doesn't appear to have happened. Like the Welsh under, we've spoken about it previously on here. The Welsh under 20 sides have been absolutely diabolical for the last number of years.
Embarrassing.
They just haven't. You know, there's no, like, you certainly wouldn't be saying, having watched, I suppose, the Welsh under 20s team over the last few years, you can't turn around and say over the last 2 or 3 years there's a team out of the 3 or 4, you know, iterations of their under 20 team over the last 3 or 4 years. There isn't a team, you know, 4 and 5 players from each different year over the last 5 or 6 years and say they're going to take out the big guns in a few years' time. You don't see any sign of it. There's like maybe 1 or 2 talented players amongst, you know, it's not 1 or 2 isn't going to cut it.
No.
Yeah. there's
No,
an
like
interest.
just before I got cut off there, I was just making the point that there was I think it was the Munster physio made some sort of comment against Jamie George a number of years ago.
Oh
Yeah.
Like it's just to close off that, but it's rubbish like that. That has no place in the game.
It hasn't any at all. None at all.
It's not the game I understood growing up and playing. That so.
Yeah, no, you're right, Pete. And just to finish off on this, commenting there, Neil Jenkins shows the ugly underbelly of Welsh rugby, and World Rugby does nothing. Bill Beaumont and co. too busy enjoying first flights in 5-star hotels, upholding rugby values very low on their priorities.
I agree with that.
Okay, yeah, soccer has always had a shite reputation. We are seeing it coming into rugby a lot. The respect and discipline are, I totally agree with that. I think we've all kind of alluded to that or mentioned that. Gatland has a history of throwing staff and players under the bus. He does. Coaching staff should not be eligible to be on the pitch with water, etc. I think that was something to be brought in after Razzie's time as a water boy. Someone else says, in reference to the issue at Welsh rugby, simple one word, W or U. Dennis Brosnan, who was watching us on YouTube. Hey, Dennis, bad management and no young players coming in. Wales got stuff to sort out. They have a lot to sort out. Dennis also said same could be said for Scotland. What's this one? Welsh rugby started going downhill after they voted against us for the World Cup. Where does James Grannon put it? The Mayo GAA curse on them and the revenge for costing us the World Cup. Yes, okay, gentlemen. All right, so that's that. The next one I wanted to talk about, Peter Martin, I'll come to you first. That was brought up in the group. I jokingly put in our thoughts are with Munster at this sad time was Billy Burns moving to Munster. Pete, is there any real fucking point in this? Seriously.
I'm struggling. I would struggle, to be perfectly honest, to understand it. A change of scenery, maybe. I just don't see what him going to Munster's going to bring. Like certainly he doesn't kick goals as an out half. So when he's playing, who's going to kick penalties and conversions? Every other 10 that's been there. Crowley kicks, Carberry kicks, Tony Butler, the young pup out of the academy, kicks. Even Ben Healy, when he was there, he kicked goals and penalties and conversions. So, who's kicking? I'm at a loss to understand it. Is it musical chairs? I don't know. I can't make out. Now, but then who are we? We're only just 4 fucking Egypts here on a Wednesday night with little else better to do than to the big boys earning the big bucks probably have a bit more brains than us as regards. They probably have it all figured out as regards what exactly is going to happen, but it's not apparent.
Or maybe not.
Yeah. Mike Reedy, Billy Burns to Munster. I mean, I as I said,
I can't get my head around it at all. I just can't, because first of all, letting Carberry go when he's probably substantially better fly half than Billy Burns any day of the week.
Be fucking Elwin's a better fly half than Billy Burns, for fuck's sake.
I like and what Peter has said there is even I hadn't even thought about it. The fact that he doesn't kick goals and Munster scrum halves always take the penalty kicks. They don't have a like a scrum half like Ulster had with John Cooney and Doak, that to take the penalties. So I just can't get my head around it at all. If that's the best, like to lose Ben Healy and to lose Joey Carberry and bring in Billy Burns, oh God, that's all I can say about it.
There's something. I tell you, Mike. There's something not quite right with Munster.
There's not one Munster fan I've heard like this happy about it.
No.
Who would they be?
Matt, what your thoughts on this?
It makes this. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Not this in the slightest little bit doesn't make any sort of sense whatsoever. Like Billy Burns, we've all seen what he's capable of. Not much, but it looks at fucking things. And he's going to go to Munster to what? Sit in the bench? He may as well be playing up in Ulster and starting. It does, and who the fuck's going to replace him up in Ulster? Like, have they somebody else coming in? Was there any announcement? Who?
No, the academy fella, is it Flannery? Is that his name?
Is it?
He's ex-Munster, but there you go. That's part of the musical chairs.
Yeah,
Crazy
Yeah,
shit.
it doesn't make any fucking sense. I think again somebody's had a stroke or an aneurysm and thought this was a good idea. I don't fucking know. Makes no fucking sense to me.
Right, let's see. There's comments flying in here, folks. Let's not kid ourselves. Ireland were in this state in the late 1990s. I think this is referencing the Welsh setup. And the IRFU threw out everything and set up plan and structures. The Welsh have always struggled with the professional aspect, and the powers that be in the WRU were happy to maintain their place and position regardless of how bad they got. That's a good point. Yeah. Something here about Billy Burns. Billy Burns is just another Ian Keatley in the making.
That's a bit
That's a bit fucking harsh. Ian Keatley was better than fucking Billy Burns.
He was.
Yeah.
Munster saving money again instead of putting faith in the young bucks like Buckley.
That's hardly saving money by keeping fucking him. They're taking him on board.
Moving Burns screws Ulster, but possibly helps them turn the wage bill, which is probably a priority for them. You see, it all comes back to money, doesn't it, gents? It all comes back to money.
Hang on a minute. Does it really make a damn bit of difference? Because the IRFU are paying for it all anyway. So does it really make a fucking bit of difference?
It does to the IRFU.
The provinces pay out of the budgets and the money that, essentially, yes, Pete, you're right. But the IRFU then give the provinces a budget to spend each year on coaching, on backroom staff, on players, and wages. The only thing publicly on the books that the IRFU pay fully for are the NIQs and the century contracted players. So the provinces have to each spend their budgets themselves, allocate funds and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, essentially it comes from the same bank account, so to speak, doing it that way. Dennis Brosnan on YouTube. Only reason Burns was moved to Munster was to lighten the books for Ulster and keep him in the Irish system if reached. Yeah, but that's not far fetched, Dennis. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, why is he? Is it necessary?
Not far fetched. We should get Dennis Brosnan on because Danny's useless.
I think if Dennis has Wi-Fi and the rabbits are running around the spinning wheels,
well, he's on YouTube, so he must have Wi-Fi.
He must have Wi-Fi.
Is that his brother or something?
I'd say the only tube that the other Brosnan is looking at is probably is fucking, I don't know what tube he's looking at.
It's not fucking
Porn
YouTube.
Amputee midget tube.
Amputee midget porn.
Bovine amputee midget porn.
Yeah, there you go. James Grannon's favourite. Right, gentlemen. Right, okay, enough about that. The other thing that I noticed, Matt, I'll come to you first on this, going that way, was that, excuse me, World Rugby announced that they are looking to amend or change 3 laws. One is not new. The other 2 are, quite frankly, a pain in the fucking hole. One is the we'll go through them individually. The caterpillar ruck, which is a fucking, I tell you, Matt. The World Rugby looking to change or amend this law about the caterpillar ruck. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, like England epitomised the caterpillar ruck because they'll have about fucking 7 players hanging off the back of a ruck, and
they're almost at the fucking
goal
line.
Yeah, like he's always kicking from the fucking inside his own 22, and the ruck is on fucking halfway. I think if they do change that, it has to be changed like a max 2 players or max 1 player or whatever. They can't be like Joe and fucking your man. What's his name? That English lad, Joe Marley. He's a fucking pain in the arse for that. Like he'll just go on and he'll just throw his arm on. He won't be even. He'll just fucking acting the bollocks or sitting on somebody or I don't know.
Yeah,
something needs. Okay. I think something needs to be done about that because it is a pain in the arse and it's horrible when you see them running in just to fucking link up with somebody and keep fucking passing the ball back to the last foot, like, so I don't know.
Yeah, rolling the ball back, and the refs
Yeah.
then use it, then they roll it back again, use it. Yeah, fuck's
Now,
sake,
when he uses it, if he rolls it back, does that count as a use it, and he gets another 5 seconds? Is that the case? And then he just keeps going.
That is the case. That is the case. Last foot, last foot, last foot. I mean, there's a very simple solution to this, folks. One man bound to the back of the ruck. That's it.
Yeah.
No one else can join.
100%.
Just don't allow any more players to join the ruck.
Yeah, last man bound. Last man bound. One man. Yeah, exactly. Mike, what do you reckon about this caterpillar?
Oh, get rid of it completely. One person at the back of the ruck. That's it. End of, as far as I'm concerned. That's the way it used to be, and that's the way it needs to be again. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Okay. And it slows the game down. There's nothing positive about it.
Okay, good point, Mike. Peter Martin, this caterpillar.
Yeah, they should do. It's funny, like you mentioned about the caterpillar rucks. We got it. There was a missive sent around from Leinster Rugby. This is now I'm talking about under 12s level, where there basically apparently had been noticed. There were complaints going in. There's too many players at under 12s ever going into the ruck.
Under 12s.
Under 12s, yeah. Now, there was no caterpillar rucks because you're not allowed to have caterpillar rucks at under 12s. But that's what they need to do. They're basically saying that there should be two versus two in a ruck, in contact in a ruck. Bring that under 12 rule to international rugby. Problem fucking solved.
Yeah.
And it'll basically it'll make every scrum half move like the wind as regards getting the ball from the back of the ruck. And if it's a pile of shit, it's a pile of shit. And it makes the rucks. It'll make the rucks more competitive. That's for bloody sure. There'll be plenty of good counter rucking going on.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, okay. The second one law that they're trying to amend or change is DuPont's law. Now, for people who don't know what DuPont's law is, years ago when I played the game, if you were doing an up and under on the pitch, you had to retreat behind or in line with the kicker to be onside. So if I kicked an up and under and my players were in front of me, they were all offside. Okay.
Yeah.
DuPont's law is that the players just remain still at the moment on the pitch. So what you have is, if you have, say, for argument's sake, 2 10s in kick tennis, you have the opposition and the attacking players all gathered in one particular part of the pitch, because neither of them have to move towards their own kicker to come back on side. And that causes just a glut of players in one particular place on the pitch, and then you have the two out halves kick tennis and tune each other, and it looks fucking stupid, and it just ruins the game. Peter Martin, DuPont's law, get rid of it, I would say. Yeah, no.
Yeah, either that or else just basically make the kicker bring everybody on side so they have to move forward. That's the way. That's the way it used to be.
Exactly.
Once you move forward, you must move forward to bring. Either you move forward, or a player who's behind you can do it the same thing as well. So if for argument's sake, ball is booted to Hugo Keenan, and James Lowe or Conor Murray or whoever the fuck it is behind them, all it needs to happen is either the catcher of the ball, which will be Hugo Keenan, or a player who is behind the catcher has to come forward, bring everybody up, and bring everybody on side again. That's all they need. Just enforce some, like, Jesus, like, I think World Rugby must be run by the Irish government. Half the fucking problems are that they aren't enforcing existing laws. They're trying to bloody change some of them or bring in new ones. Just enforce the goddamn freaking law. Simple. Just bring it back to what it was. No more players can join the ruck. So you can't basically, scrum half can't be basically putting his arm out calling for Joe Marler to join the fucking ruck, or any other shithead join the forward in the way. Not allowed. Right?
I totally agree.
And the same with DuPont's law. You catch that ball, you have to go forward to bring players on side.
Yeah, totally agree. Mike Reedy, DuPont's law.
I mean, it was almost always a case of the person actually putting an up and under kick, that they were the one that were contesting retaking the ball.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they decide they'll fucking just kick the ball and stay inside their own 22 and kick it into the other 22, and fucking Finn Russell there having a cigar with the ball in his fucking hand, looking around, what'll I do with it? I mean, that's what's actually brought all this to a head. That nonsense between France and Scotland in the Six Nations, because that's basically what he was standing like, and he was literally standing with the ball in his hand, having a look around, sniggering, and it's rightly brought all to a head. It's absolute. It's just another wee thing that's bringing. It's not bringing the game into disrepute as such, but it's making the game look less attractive as a viewing spectacle. And by God, we need to work hard to get this game back on track, like as a viewing spectacle, because when people aren't going to games and there's no money coming into the game, and there's more money required, like to pay players, etc., the game's on a downward spiral as a whole.
Yeah.
So
true. Okay.
I think that should be. It's absolute nonsense, man. All these things that they do.
Matt, but what do you think of DuPont's law? Just get rid of it. Go back to basics.
When did it change from the Gary Owen?
I've no fucking idea.
Isn't that not the same fucking thing?
Well, it was. But the Gary Owen.
I don't know.
DuPont now has put his name to it, is he?
No, it's called DuPont's law because he found a loophole in whatever law, pre-existing law was there, and that's why it's called DuPont's law. I don't know.
He should be banned from South Africa.
At the end of the day, the rules are anybody to chase the ball needs to be behind the kicker. And I know when I was playing, if the referee saw you made an effort to try and get back onto side to go and chase, you were grand. I don't think the fucking standing there, arms up in the air, pretending you're not doing it, and then attacking a player from being a fucking 8 feet offside. That's fucking stupid. They should be retreating, or either fucking the chaser or the kicker is going to reclaim the ball to bring everybody onside. That's the way it should. That's the way it should be.
Okay, right. And sorry, Matt. I don't mean to cut you off. Sorry. Were you finished? Did you make a point?
No, that was it. I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. Grant. Okay. The last one, Mike Reedy, I'll come to you first on this. The last one, and this is not new. And we've spoken about this before, but it's included in these 3 amendments they're looking at. The 20-minute red card. Whereas if a player is red carded, that player is gone. They can't come back on. But what the team can do is bring on a sub in his or her place after 20 minutes.
Now,
I think is a ridiculous idea.
This is something that's been really pushed for by New Zealand, and it's all stemmed from
Australia.
From Australia as well.
Yeah.
But it's all stemmed from the New Zealand captain being sent off in the World Cup final, and they couldn't bring on a player, and they've been trialing all this thing, and they're pushing big time for it, but it's unacceptable for me at all, because if a player, do you know what they really need to do is make a decision on the red card, on actual red card, a red card that's dished out for foul play or for dangerous play. There should be no one coming back on. Now, there are situations where maybe you might have an accidental head clash where a guy ends up getting the red card, and that's kind of a grey area. But for anybody that's been involved in serious foul play, there's absolutely no way they should be able to replace them on the pitch during that game. We spoke about this before, and this is exactly what it'll be exploited by our South Africans, and I'm going to say it because they exploit absolutely everything. They will, like for instance, your best player, like DuPont. Let's take DuPont out and sacrifice somebody for 20 minutes, taking him out of the game. That's exactly what will happen. I'd like to think that nobody would.
Do you honestly think that, though, Mike, that a team would go out purposely to take out a player?
Yeah, I do.
Sacrifice.
I think South Africa will. I'm sorry, I don't like to keep picking on South Africa, but they listen. If there's goalposts to be moved, they'll move them. It's as simple as that.
Do you know what? You need to get 2 T-shirts now. I hate mercenaries and I hate South Africans.
I don't hate all South Africans. I hate what they're trying to do to the game. They're trying to, like, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Why do they have to reinvent the wheel all the time? And
all right,
I just don't think.
All right, fucking ass. Okay, all right, tangent boy. All right. fucking cool your fucking tits there. Right. Peter Martin, this idea, it's not a new one. We've spoken about it before, but it's in the 3 that are being amended or looking to be amended. The 20-minute red card, I think, is a lot of bollocks.
Yeah, and that's all I have to say about it as well, because it's the most ludicrous. Like, we really should, like all things be considered, we really shouldn't be giving it airtime, because at the end of the day, we're trying to fix the game in the whole player safety area, and this does absolutely fucking nothing for it. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Cut it.
Okay, Matt Boland, I presume you have the same feelings?
Load of fucking shite. Red card is a red card. You're off. That's it. Fucking, you're off for a reason. A team can't just fucking replace you because some scumbag tried to take somebody else's fucking head off. Stupid.
Okay. Sorry, folks. Just a load of comments coming in here. Dennis Brosnan again. Jeez, Dennis is quite
fucking mute him, will you?
Caterpillar,
don't do that.
Caterpillar. I'm not doing that. He's good enough to offer an opinion.
He's better than the other balls.
Should be called.
Anybody's better than that.
Wouldn't be hard, to be fair.
Caterpillar ruck ball should be called out once it's released from the player on the ground.
Oh, I don't agree with that. Yeah. That's a bit dangerous.
Is Dennis Danny's brother? We don't know. We don't know what is going on here.
There's some fucking relation going on.
Brother, fifth cousin twice removed.
They like the same sheep.
Leo,
sorry.
Leo is heading. It's actually Mike. It's Heifer's Mike. You know, get the terminology.
Oh, heifer.
Heifer. Leo is heading into rugby. That's what unsaid reason. Okay.
Yeah, we know Leo Cullen's there. So.
They'll outlaw the Caterpillar ruck, and 2 years from now we'll be talking about changing the law to stop the Caterpillar ruck. Okay. This one. How about mandatory card if X number of penalties in a 10-minute period are conceded in one phase play against Scotland the other week? There were 5 penalties and no card in a 3-minute period. This needs to be sorted. That's a very good point. Yeah. Let me see. If players don't move and the kicker doesn't take 5 steps, then it's a free kick. Hold on, Mike. Wait now. No effing way has to be the most ridiculous law ever. I would imagine that's a red card. Dennis Brosnan again, biggest pile of crap ever. Excuse me. Every entry level suspension will have to be doubled or tripled to make it as a deterrent. Okay,
I agree with
that. Next one: if a player is red carded, it needs to be rest of game. It would not be a red card for a so white, that would be other player on. That's crazy. Yes, totally agree. Rules are there for a reason. Yeah, laws even a coach picks third choice and gets okay. Right. Okay, fair enough. That's that done. Okay, fair enough. One thing I just wanted to quickly mention, gentlemen, if you have anything to say about this, the great Ruan, is worth to mention. Ruan Pinar has retired. He was a great servant to Ulster Rugby. Some player, he could change a game, you know, at a whim. I thought he was a great player. Anyway, we won't go too much into this, but he's retiring. Just want to acknowledge that. Pete, Mike, Matt, any?
The biggest
one of the good South African things to come to Irish rugby.
The biggest loss Ulster ever suffered was fucking losing Ruan.
I'd say the way it is, if he had uttered any kind of inclination towards coaching, if the RFU want to look after Ulster properly, they'd basically name your price and get him up to Ulster.
Yeah.
That's my view for Ulster fans. I think they would love to have him. And his emotional farewell said it all. So he's like he's as Ulster through and through, I'd say, as many of the natives are, you know. So if he goes into coaching, he'll have to end up at Ulster at some stage.
Ulster, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, no, I just thought it was worthwhile mentioning the fact that he retired. One thing, gents, Matt Boland, I'll come to you first on this. We're going that way. I put up a thing. The one thing I'd like to see World Rugby change. I meant to say this earlier when we're talking about the law changes. 30-second scrum. Would that work? Do you think?
I don't know. I didn't see this coming up at
No,
all.
no. I just made it up.
Oh, you just made it up.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He's spoofing.
30 seconds. So 30 seconds. Sometimes the referee's fucking telling the lads how to fucking scrum anyway. So I don't know.
Well, that's yeah, but a 30-second scrum. Whoever has the ball, if they don't form, set, hook within 30 seconds, like a goal kick clock,
it goes the other way.
It goes the other way. Yeah.
Jesus, I don't know. We all know the problems around the scrum and the time wasting that goes on and the resetting and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, like it's a good idea, but 30 seconds is probably not enough.
I think this is just a grenade Burke's just thrown out now.
Yeah,
no, I don't. I've said here in the past, time off for scrum resets, because the amount of fucking time scrums take is just, it's crazy. And Dave Sheedy made a very good point. How are you, Dave? If you're watching, go back to the old style scrummaging. You know, engage, ball in, hook, gone. Good luck.
I'd be all in favour of that.
Yeah.
All this.
They made it the scrum too much to try and make it better, and they just made it worse, progressively worse over the years.
Yeah. Peter Martin, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I would say that basically there may well be, even if they basically, the constant resets are an absolute pain in the Swiss. There's no doubt about it. You could even make the law, bring in an amendment to the law that basically just have a stipulation. You have 3 resets and then it's a turnover. Now I know there's free kicks that are there, just basically.
But really, I mean,
there has to be. Look, I'd be open-minded.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Pete, 9 times out of 10, if it's a free kick awarded, it's a scrum again. Most of the time, not all the time. Most of the time, it's a scrum again.
Change it to a penalty. Look, we're talking about it, just putting the idea out there. Like, there has to be some sort of, because it is like, you see, we're treading the line here where an awful lot of it, the scrum used to be, you can't go back to the good old days where basically it was almost like a charge.
Yeah.
Like, that was fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, and you see the photo going back, and it's not that long ago where there was a bit of a charge. That was nuts. You can't have that. But there's a fine line.
Too big now.
The players are far too big. It's more of a wrestle than it ever was. And I remember even Keane Healy being he was asked for his tuppence worth in an interview when they had brought in all the changes, when they had the crouch, set, engage. When they moved from the charge, we'll call it, to the crouch, set, and engage, to crouch, touch, bind.
Yeah.
Or crouch, bind, engage, whatever the fuck they're using these days. I losing track myself. But he was asked about it, and he said it's become more of a wrestle, which is fine, because look, it's a strength, and it becomes a strength and technique. That's what it is. My own view on the scrum is, I think they need to look at, and this is at schools level, the 1.5 meter push. I think they could basically, they think they need to look at that. I know Mike Ross is vocal on that, and it'll help. Apparently it's exclusive to this country. The 1.5 meter shove, and it could well help us find a few more good scrummaging props.
There's sorry, big one. Yeah, sorry, sorry, Pete. There's a comment there. Mike Reedy is dead right about the cynicism that a 20-minute red card would bring. Lions tour when Bod was spear tackled. I remember it well. Imagine if those boys got red carded for 20 minutes for such a dangerous tackle. Yet again, World Rugby trying to undermine player safety. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, of course I agree, because they fucking mentioned you, didn't they?
All right.
Lads, be careful slagging of Dennis's friend Danny when the Heaney Rays become Taoiseach at the end of the election. There'll be a list of name of people slagging off Kerry people. And okay, fair enough. That's a Dara Weston-esque type thing.
Yeah,
100% that's Dara Weston.
When is Burke going to admit he needs his reading glasses for these comments? I know he's trying to supply the eye candy for the show, but I can't wear my glasses because there's a glow, and if I read them here, look, I'll show you. Fuck yous now, I'll show you. Right?
See, you've got him going now.
You see, I put my glasses on, and all you see is this, a glare. Right, you can't see anything, so it's off-putting, whatever way it goes. Right, so that's why I don't wear my glasses. Right, there you go. But I do wear glasses.
Yes, we all have glasses. Right.
There you are now. Now, right, folks. Oh, yes. One last thing before we go into the games, right? Peter Martin, there was 4 nominees for player of the tournament. One, I think, is just a fucking ridiculous. He shouldn't be there. Aki, Ben Earl, Duhan van der Verve, and Lemoncello. Out of those four, who do you think deserves it? Duhan van der Merwe shouldn't be there. He's a fucking spoofer at the highest order.
He's gotten there, Peter, on the back of his hat trick against England.
Yeah, but that's all he did, though. Like
that's all he fucking did. He was anonymous against us. He was anonymous against us.
He's always found out against any other opposition bar England. He just fucking runs away and runs through English teams.
Once you get basically touch tight, like any big guy, once you get effectively touch tight, and low, on a big guy, he's stymied. He can't do anything. Yeah. And that's what Ireland did. We got close him down very quickly, and he just had this WTF expression on his face every time the referee the decision went against him.
He shouldn't be there. To be honest.
Yeah, he shouldn't be there. He should. Mike Reedy, what do you think? That those 4 nominees, Aki, Ben Earl,
Aki is player of the tournament for me anyway. But as regards Duhan van der Merwe, like he basically did get that. He got that nomination based on one game, and he was garbage against Italy, and he was garbage against us, and he was like, where was Tommy Raffels like playing in a Welsh team that got absolutely copied in every game?
Where was Caelan Doris? Where was Gibson Park? Where was
in all honesty, could you have Tommy Raffel up there after Wales win the fucking wooden spoon? You probably can't.
You could.
No, you could.
Really? There has to be a glimmer of hope for every shit team there is.
He's probably
the one. He's a shit bar one player.
He was the one shining light in their fucking dreadful.
If you were to pick a starting lines team in the morning, I'd say it would be predominantly Irish and English players, and I'd say Tommy Raffel would be the only Welsh player, and he'd probably be on the bench. And that's the only player that have in a line squad.
I would have Rio Dyer as well in the backs.
He's a good player. He is a good player. He is a good player. I'll give you that. And talking about good players, right? Let's that's all the news that was going on in the groups. Let's talk about the games that happened and as they happened. Peter Martin, we had Wales entertaining Italy, Wales losing that 21 points to 24. Did you see that, Pete?
I did, and I was fucking delighted. Italy found the mental strength to back up the performance that, they were capable of. Effectively, forget about the scoreline. Wales were effectively almost beaten out the gate. They had absolutely nothing. I mean, nothing in attack. Against Italy. Italy have a very good defense coach and our forwards coach. And it has to be said, and it just reminded me, just while we're on that, it reminded me a little bit of the way, now it's not comparing like with like, but I think you might get where I'm coming from. When Declan Kidney took over from Eddie O'Sullivan, the year in 2009, we had that period of time where Eddie O'Sullivan was in charge of the Irish team, and we're getting so close and coming on and bits, and all of a sudden, Kidney came in. He had named a good coaching ticket, and boom, Grand Slam, 2009, first since fucking Jackie Kyle's era. a little bit of shades of that, a little bit, but obviously not in the same. No silverware as such given out for Italy, but I just felt the same. Crowley has done an awful lot of work behind the scenes with that Italian team, getting them playing, and it has to be said, an Irishman in the form of Stephen Aboud. He's totally responsible for getting that that Italian under 20 set up and running. He's entirely responsible for that, and kudos to him for producing what a very consistent line of talent coming out of Italy at under 20 level, which we'll see in the next couple of years coming filtering through, hopefully. But look, it's like Quesada built, no doubt about it, has built on all that. Changed the game plan slightly, as Michele Lamaro said. He changed. The one thing he did change was the mindset. Hopefully, we'll see that now in the second part of Full Contact from Netflix whenever it comes out. But we'll get a taste as regards the mindset, as regards what Quesada's brought. But you could see in the celebrations at the end, the players he really bonded. It seems like he's a real players coach.
Yeah,
Quesada. I didn't see that from Crowley at all. I'd say there was definitely a distance, the old style kind of New Zealand. Kind of,
I'm the boss and you're the fucking players.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Yeah,
a little bit of that about
Gatland.
Obviously Crowley had his points. He got them playing for a period of time, but it obviously wore out. But Quesada came in, breath of fresh air. The players love him. Seemingly, I can't remember who it was.
He's doing great stuff.
But
yep, he's doing great stuff. He's doing great stuff, Pete. I totally agree with you. Mike Reedy, Wales v Italy. Did you see that game?
I did see it. Yeah, I'm really impressed with Italy. I am. They play a simple brand of rugby, but a very, very attractive brand of rugby to watch. They move the ball. It's just. I think they're a breath of fresh air, and they brought something major to the Six Nations they had needed this year. And as far as Crowley was concerned, I think that Netflix documentary has absolutely exposed him for what he was. He never attempted to learn one word of the Italian language, and they had no respect. The players had no respect whatsoever for him. Quesada has come in and completely changed, like the whole, like Peter just said, the whole mindset of everything they do. And do you know what, they did something we couldn't. We almost failed to do against Scotland. By the way, they exploited Scotland's weaknesses in defence, and honest to God, lads, like Wales got 2 tries at the end of that game that papered over the cracks because they got absolutely hammered. And Italy, a breath of fresh air, and I look forward to watching them now.
Okay. Matt Boland, Wales v Italy. Did you see it? What did you make of it if you did?
Yeah, no, look, it was a great game and fair play to Italy. I mean, backing up their previous win the week before to go out and beat Wales in fucking Cardiff, to repeat what they did 2 years ago was a phenomenal achievement. And I think they have to be so proud. They really should have beaten France as well. They should have been 3 wins in this tournament. Their best performance in the Six Nations in history. They were a breath of fresh air to watch. You can clearly see the effect the new coaches and the coaching staff have on that team. Michele Lamaro is one of the best captains you'll ever see. He is just an out-and-out captain. He's an out-and-out team player. He's respectful to referees. He's everything you want in a captain. And your man, that fucking Juan Ignico Brex, what a fucking name that is. He was fucking brilliant as well. Have to say.
Nacho Brex. Nacho
Brex, yeah. Fucking movie star name. But yeah,
look, name, isn't it? It's a great name.
It's a quality name. But no, look, Italy were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant and great to watch. They really were, like, just fantastic. Compared to last year and previous Six Nations, it's hard to believe that this was a team that people wanted to kick out of the Six Nations.
Yeah, hello, me. That was me. I said that.
You did.
Next one, we're taking the games as they happened. The next one was Ireland 17, Scotland 13. Now, gentlemen, just entertain me here for one moment, because I know Ryle from the IRFU will be watching this, and thank you, Ryle, by the way, for a good day out. I just want to explain to you my day as briefly as I can. I'm not going to keep it too long. You firstly, you as I said, you get the email notification you've been approved for media accreditation. Go to the IRFU on Lansdowne Road, pick up your pass, your lanyard, and off you go. That's what I did. So you're walking down and you're feeling fucking brilliant, right? Because you just walk straight past. There's no stop, shows your tickets. No, you have this thing around your neck. Down. Met Claire Devaney at the train station, and we went in. And you go into the ground via Lansdowne Lane, which is just down from the priority or the level 3 where the escalator is exit. It's the one before that. None of this turnstile stuff, lads. None of this turnstile stuff. There's a door. It's opened for you by a security guy. In you go. Around to the right, through this carpeted alleyway. It's an area of the Aviva I didn't even know existed. Into this media room, where there's a full catering facilities there. So you get fed, you get watered. There's tea, there's coffee. You recognize all the heads there, Rory O'Connor, all the heads from that you know from the online sites that you're well used to seeing. And then you go into a media room with all these tables and these hot desks and all these journalists with their laptops, and Keith Earls is sitting there casually chatting to someone. Ryan Nugent was there. I waved at him. He waved back. I think he kind of recognized me. Darren Cave was there. You know, all these people. Like it's a surreal experience when you're in there, because you recognize everyone. You know some of them by name. They haven't a fucking clue who I am. You know, but you have this thing around your neck.
I did.
You have this thing around your neck, which validates your presence in that room. So then then I went into where the press conference room is. There was no one in there because at that time. So you come back out, and when you sometimes see on the TV when the coach with the players comes in and they walk into the Aviva just there, you're actually about 20 feet away from where that door is, right? So you come out of there, and then you don't go up the stairs, lads. You go into a lift with a security guard in the lift, and you go up to the 5th floor. And then when you get up to the 5th floor, you then go into block 536, walk through there. And I think I put the live video on when I was walking in through there, and you see it, and you walk into the press box. And I tell you, lads, it's the way to go to a game. It's a different world, and hopefully you'll all get to experience it if I sort it all out. You sit into a little booth with your own private little TV in front of you, and they're actually seated for 2, but it's never full. So you have a booth to yourself, padded seats. You've got a plug for your phone, a plug for your laptop. There's a Wi-Fi thing if you brought your laptop. I had my pen and a fucking notepad. How fucking stupid did I look? Everyone else is there in their MacBooks typing away, and I'm there going, fucking hell, geez, better pretend I'm writing something there. So I was writing something there. I even asked Claire Devaney, I says, Claire, do you have headphones so I look more journalistic if I'm sitting there? She goes, no, we don't. I said, for fuck's sake. So anyway, so that's what you do. Now you have no ref mic, but you can see everything. You can see you're right. You're overlooking the halfway line, and it's a fantastic experience to view it that day. But then after the game, then you go down and you're hanging around for about half an hour, and then you go into the press room and you're there. It's like a college auditorium where there's steeped seats going right back up. There's about 50 or 60 people, journalists in the room. And again, you know them all. They're from Virgin, RTE, BBC Northern Ireland, Scotland. You'd know some of the voices. You know them all. But it's all the press conference. Despite what people might think, the press conferences are very, very orchestrated. You see Andy Farrell and Peter O'Mahony, the two, Gregor Townsend and Finn Russell came out first. But what you don't see is there's a guy over to the left standing at a lectern who is pointing at who gets to ask a question, and they're all addressed by their first name. So I couldn't just go, how are you, Finn? Listen, what's the story, spoofer? there's not. No, but there's not a chance of that happening. There's not a chance of that happening. You have to be. Yeah, I know. You have to be.
And Peter Burke's never getting let back in for letting out all the secrets.
You've got to be.
There's Peter Burke, the Finn Russell of journalism.
There you go. Well, it's all orchestrated, and you don't see that on the TV. So it's not, as I say, it's not just a question of putting your hand up and going, "Can I ask Finn?" This sort of stuff or whatever. And then that's it. They leave, and then you all go. But it's a long day. But like I think I got home about 9 o'clock that night. But it's a long day, but it's very, very enjoyable, and it's almost surreal. I was like a kid on Christmas morning. But there you go, and hopefully we'll get you all to experience that when I get the stuff sorted. So there you go. Anyway, that's my story. I said that because I know Royal would be from the IRFU would be watching this. So thanks, Royal. I'll be chatting to you in the weeks coming. Anyway, Matt, go on. Ireland versus Scotland. What did you think?
Look, I mean, at the occasion, as an occasion, it was great for a great win. To come back after a disappointing week before, losing to England by 1 point is like losing a game by a point is nearly worse than getting fucking slaughtered. I think because you've put so much into it and you're so close but yet so far by losing by a point. They really wanted to go out and prove that they were worthy winners of this game. Now, look, it was a fantastic game. I mean, credit to Scotland, their defense was unbelievable. I think we spent most of the time in their 22, if not all of it in the second half. But it could have been a hell of a lot worse for fucking Scotland, bar their defense. I mean, the try they got towards the end was lucky enough. It was just a lack of concentration, which kind of helped them on the scoreboard a little. But I mean, I couldn't believe the defensive effort from Scotland. Now, look, not taken away from Ireland. Ireland played well. I think they were nervous going into this game because of what was at stake and because of what happened the week before. They really want and they really play for the fans. They want the fans to be celebrating. So I think they just wanted to win. And I think they did. They played well. They played to win, and they won, and they got what they deserved. They stuck it out, won the game, and won the Six Nations, and that's a fucking great result for Irish rugby.
Well, wasn't their best performance though, Matt?
No, it wasn't their best performance, not by any stretch, and that's why I wasn't alluding to the fact that they were crap or they were brilliant or whatever. I was just kind of saying, the enormity of the situation and what was going on. They were nervous. They wanted to win, and if Ireland had played all the games like they played against France, we would have slaughtered everyone. Simple as that. But I think. True. As the tournament went on, they knew they were capable of winning, and especially in the England game, I think they were kind of nervous because they knew England were coming out, and the same kind of spilled onto the Scotland game, and then it gets worse because they know they want to win, and they want to make the fans happy because that's what they always say. It's about the fans. We do this for the fans. We want to win for the fans. We want them to be celebrating. And we were at full time, so it was great. But yeah, like you said, it wasn't their best performance.
Yeah,
but a win's a win.
Okay, a win's a win. Yeah, exactly. Peter Martin, what do you think of that Scotland game?
I think even going back to the England game, England and Scotland have basically shown the world, for want of a better term, how to really kind of shut down our attack. Scotland did a very good job of doing it. Their defense was awesome. I was just talking even at work with my own boss, who's a rugby man, and the point he made is that if Scotland had an attack at all, we would have been beaten. If they had been able to attack or haven't had a few ideas in attack as much as they had in defense, we would have been beaten. And I don't think we would have had any complaints, to be honest. it's just it seems to be a bit of a trend, and maybe I'm going to be a negative Nelly for a moment, but like it's just been over the last couple of seasons. We've started off at this level, and it's gone down throughout the competition. But look, all credit to the players. They stuck at it. They found their way. They basically just carried a bit harder. From what I could see, they changed up a little bit. The other thing I'd say as well, though, is that the refereeing for Matthew Carley was very poor, and I'm being kind saying that. Like he awarded Porter's try, and he was the other. He wasn't even in. He couldn't even see the ball being grounded. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. He came running in from the opposite side, and he's there blowing the whistle, and says, "You didn't actually see the ball being grounded." Yet and all, he disallowed Tyg Furlong's try, which I totally thought it was a try, even though he did drop the ball. There wasn't, from what I could see, significant separation. It was downward pressure. He dropped the ball, didn't go forward. It went down or it went backwards, if anything. I thought Furlong had a legit try. But I just questionable refereeing from Carley. We've seen that from him in the World Cup, and also, so as was pointed out, Carl Dixon seems to be jumping in with his tuppence worth and being given space to do so by Matthew Carley. I just think he's a questionable referee. I don't think he's up to it. There's a couple of other English referees. That chap, Luke Pearce is brilliant. I think he's got real potential to be one of the best referees himself. And himself, I actually do like, much and all, I'm sure people will. I actually think Reynal is a good referee. I like his communication style. It's very matter of fact. Not anyway. He doesn't come across to me being very arrogant and dismissive.
What about Ben O'Keefe? Ben O'Keefe, Pete.
Ben O'Keefe is very good as well. Yeah, Ben O'Keefe is very, very good. Angus Gardner is not bad. He's had a few couple of howlers, but I think he's actually. I think there's a really good ref. I don't sound condescending, but I think there's a really, really good referee in him.
Yeah, and I actually just jumping in there quickly. Angus Gardner, he's one of the refs that actually takes on board what players or captains are telling him, and he'll actually go, okay, yeah, maybe I was wrong, and he'll admit his errors, and that's what I kind of like about Angus.
Yeah, true. Geez, lads, we're at an hour and 7 minutes. Holy fuck! Right, let's get through these. Mike Reedy,
it was you waffling on about your fucking experience on fucking Saturday.
Well, I had to, because I was thanking the IRFU and Royal and the IRFU for doing it.
You probably never got it. You probably, the last time you were that spoiled was probably your own wedding day, was it? Doors being open for you and food being put out for you and the whole lot. Jesus Christ!
Tell you what, there you go, Mike Reedy.
Hobnobs.
Hobnobs, Weetabix and chocolate fingers, Pete. Mike Reedy, go on. Ireland versus Scotland.
Ireland versus Scotland. I'll tell you what has surprised me over the last two games. The performance we put in against Scotland, or it's actually the performance Scotland put in against us, and the performance England put in against us. They were completely turning our head. We never expected England to run at us with the ball the week before, and we did expect Scotland, and Scotland reverted to this defensive game, which they did very well, in fairness to them, and I didn't think it was in them. But we made heavy work of it, lads. Let's be honest, we made heavy work of it. We got the job done, but we reverted back to one-out runners and pick and go, we were camped on their line for God almighty the whole second half almost. And we only breached it twice. I agree with what Peter Martin said. I think Ty Furlong's was definitely a try. There was definitely a grounding there, and I could not see any grounding at all on the Porter one. I think he just gave that because he should have gave the other one. But lads, we got the job done eventually, and proud of the lads. But we did take a bit of a downward turn for the last two games. Now we were very we were very efficient in the first three games, scoring tries at will almost, and we weren't against either England or Scotland. So it's food for thought.
Well, I think Mike, and I don't know if Peter or Matthew would agree with me, but I think we were a bit shell shocked in the English game, because
without a doubt,
when England played
100%.
Scotland, England couldn't hold on to the ball. They'd no attack.
No,
They'd no
couldn't.
structure. They struggled to put any sort of phase play together. And then they came out against us and did the exact opposite. And
Yeah.
Well, I think there was an element of, and this was alluded to in post-match interviews, there was an emotional element, and we've seen it before.
Yeah.
We've seen it before, even with our own team.
We have.
And every team has it. When there's an emotional, spur, there's an emotional inspiration.
Yeah,
it makes a fucking difference. We've seen it in Croke Park ourselves. We've seen Italy pull out emotional performances. We've seen, Wales do it. Every team has that ability. The French are brilliant at it. They pull out a big, massive emotional performance, and it just basically it's like a fucking tide. It's very hard to stop.
Yeah, true. And speaking about French and France, Mike, the last one, we won't spend too much time on this because we're way over time. France played England. France winning that by 2 points, 33 points to 31. Mike, it was a great game to watch, by the way.
Absolutely fabulous game to watch, and I honestly thought France were blowing England away. Like they went a couple of scores up, then England came back and they scored 3 rapid fire tries and were absolutely brilliant, if we're honest, and they were. And then France came back and scored a couple of tries. It was absolutely fantastic game, and like probably one of the best games in the championship, really. And fair play, I'm going to give credit to England. They've turned things around a little bit, so they have. And 3 matches ago, you wouldn't have given them tuppence. Like you could have seen them finishing in the bottom 2. And fair play to them, by the way. They came and made a good contest of it. And I'll tell you something, that going forward, by the way, they'll be a force to be reckoned with next season. And I think I'd like to think Italy probably. I think Scotland have shot their bolt now, by the way, and I don't see them, because their golden generation has done nothing basically. So, but well done, France and England. Great game.
Peter Martin.
I didn't see the game,
Thanks,
but
Mike.
just
Peter
to
Martin,
echo. Yeah, just to echo what Mike said. No, I didn't actually see the game, but I was live. I was just keeping an eye on it on social media, and Flipping Home Thing or anybody I've spoken to about it said I missed a cracker. So, and the scoreline definitely, the way the game ebbed and flowed, definitely suggests that. But just to echo what Mike said, I do think England are going to be a threat. France, I'm not sure where they're going to go from here. So much was invested in Galtier and Edwards and that backroom team, getting them to the World Cup. It didn't happen. Dupont stepped away from Test rugby, and we've seen what's happened. There's basically nothing. I don't. They seem to have lost a little bit of direction. France. They don't seem to have the players that you can build a bit of an inspiration around. Olive. Don't get me wrong. They've got fine players in the pack. They've got size now in Mayafu. But they don't seem to have somebody who can really kind of direct them and steer them around the pitch. They lack a bit of direction at half back, I think. And
well, what about Le Garrick, Pete?
Yeah, Le Garrick has been a discovery, unquestionably. But he's still 21 years of age. He's callow. Whether he's going to be another Dupont, that's, I think, with myself, Dupont is a generational talent. But I just think that France need to find their players find the players and pick the players who are going to basically steer them if Dupont is not going to be on the pitch. Scotland, Wales are going to be, will be odds on for the wooden spoon again, I think. I just don't. I think it's looking bleak for Wales. Not hugely different for Scotland, because let's face it, a lot of the, like Russell is 31 going on 32. It'll be just interesting to see where Scotland are going forward. The change of style and play or selection or whatever the case may be. I do think it'll be between ourselves and England for next year for the Six Nations.
Yeah. Okay, Matt Boland, France, England.
Yeah, look, that was a cracking game of rugby. It really was, and it was end-to-end stuff, really, where England or France would go ahead, England would come back, and vice versa. It was a whopper. I was just wondering, like, were they not watching what happened in the Ireland-Scotland game and went out into that pinch thinking they could both win the Six Nations? Because it certainly looked like a performance from both teams as if that was the case. Because realistically, it was a dead rubber game where they couldn't win. They could only really just determine position second or third, you know what I mean? But they played as if it was all on the line, and it was a fucking cracking game of rugby. That's it.
It was a brilliant game. Right, gentlemen, we are 15 minutes over time. We do not have time to go into the upcoming URC games. All I want to do is, at this stage, is to wish our women the best of luck against France
100%.
in their opening game in this year's Six Nations.
We'll be watching.
Which I think it's Saturday. It's Saturday, gents, isn't it?
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah,
it is Saturday. Yeah. So best of luck to our women this Saturday, and we'll all be watching and shouting and screaming and supporting you. We will talk about this, the game and the games, the URC games as well as they happened. Excuse me, on next weekend's show, where we might have a special guest. You never know. All that's left for me to do is to thank Matt Boland, Peter Martin, and Mike Reedy for your company. Gentlemen, as always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you and good night, and we will chat soon. Take care.
Can I give a shout out to my daughter, Claire Reedy? I think she's tuning in from York tonight with us. So, hi, Claire.
How are you, Claire?
Claire, I apologise for Peter Burke.
Hi, Claire.
How are you,
Bye,
Claire?
Claire.
Hope you're well. Bye, Claire. Bye, Claire. Hi, Claire. Bye, Claire. Right, gents. Good luck. Take care.
Good luck.
And
Night, God
we'll
bless you.
talk soon.
All the best,
Good luck.
guys.
All
Yes,
right.
thanks ever so much.